Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let me start with invocation and invoke auspiciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and unto the author Srila Vyasadeva. And today we are reading from the third canto, entitled The Status Quo. So we are like creation, cosmic manifestation, canto 2 in our status quo. And we are reading from chapter 1, question by Vidura. And we are on text 33. The one forward Sanskrit word, Kachit
Kachit
Shivam
Shivam
Devakaboja Putriya
Devakaboja Putriya
Vishnu Prajaya
Vishnu Prajaya
Eva
Eva
Devamatu
Devamatu
Ya
Vai
Vai Swagarbena
Swagarpena
Dadara
Nadara
Devam
Devam
Sayi Yata
Yata
Yagyavitanam
Yagyavitanam
Artam
Artam
Kachit Shivam Devakaboja Putriya
Kachit Shivam Devakaboja Putriya
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Devamatu
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Devamatu
Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Devam
Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Devam
Chayi Yata Yagyavitanam
Trayataya Vitanam
Kachit Shivam Devakaboja Putriya
Kachit Shivam Devakaboja Putriya
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Devamatu
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Devamatu
Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Devam
Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Devam
Sayi Yata Yagyavitanam
Trayataya Vitanam
Kachit Shivam Devakaboja Putriya
Kachit Shivam Devakaboja Putriya
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Devamatu
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Devamatu
Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Devam
Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Devam
Sayi Yata Yagyavitanam
Trayataya Vitanam
Kachit Shivam Devakaboja Putriya
Kachit Shivam Devakaboja Putriya
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Devamatu
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Devamatu
Yavai Swagarbena Dadhara Devam
Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Devam
Trayataya Yavitanam
Trayataya Gavitanavartam Kachit Shivam Deva Kaboja Putriya
Kachit Shivam Deva Kaboja Putriya
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Deva Matu
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Deva Matu
Yavai Svagarbena Dadara Devam
Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Devam
Trayataya Gavitanavartam
Trayataya Gavitanavartam
Kachit Shivam Devaka Boja Putriya
Kachit Shivam Deva Kaboja Putriya
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Deva Matu
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Deva Matu
Yavai Svagarbena Dadara Devam
Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Devam
Trayataya Gavitanam Artham
Trayataya Gavitanavartam
Kachit Shivam Deva Kaboja Putriya
Kachit Shivam Deva Kaboja Putriya
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Deva Matur
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Deva Matu
Yavai Svagarbena Dadara Deva
Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Deva
Trayataya Vitanam Artam
Trayataya Gavitanavartam
Kachit Shivam Deva Kaboja Putriya
Kachit Shivam Deva Kaboja Putriya
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Deva Matu
Vishnu Prajaya Iva Deva Matu
Yavai Svagarbena Dadara Devam
Yavai Svagarbena Dadara Devam
Trayataya Vitamam Datam
Trayataya Gavitanavartam. Someone online would like to chant the verse? Okay, so we can go word for word with translation. Catch it, weather, Shivam, everything well. Devaka Boja Putriya, of the daughter of King Devaka Boja. Vishnu Prajaya, of she who gave birth to the personality of Godhead. Eva, like that of. Devamatu, of the mother of the demigod. Aditi, Ya, one who. By, indeed. Swagarbena, by her own womb. The Dara, conceived. Devam, the Supreme Lord. Trai, the Vedas. Yata, as much as. Yagavitanam, or spreading the sacrifice. Artam, purpose. Hare Krishna. Translation. As the Vedas are the reservoir of sacrificial purposes, so the daughter of King Devaka Boja conceived the Supreme Personality of Godhead in her womb, as did the mother of the demigods. Is she, Devaki, doing well? Purport by Stephen Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Vedas are full of transcendental knowledge and spiritual values, and thus Devaki, the mother of Lord Krishna, conceived the Lord in her womb as a personified meaning of the Veda. There is no difference between the Vedas and the Lord. The Vedas aim the understanding of the Lord, and the Lord is the Veda personified. Devaki is compared to the meaningful Vedas, and the Lord to their purpose personified. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyanajala Shalakaya Shakshu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobisham Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Datati Swapadam Tikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupam Savajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kamta Radha Kamta Namosute Tata Kamshana Gorange Radhe Vidnavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvesesha Shunyavadi Paskatya Dejatarine Mokam Koti Vacharam Pangum Langayati Grigim Yatripatamam Vande Sagum Dejatarine. Hare Krishna. I'm going to read the verse again. As the Vedas are the reservoir of sacrificial purposes, so the daughter of King Devaka Boja conceives the Supreme Personality of God in her womb, as did the mother of the demigod. Is she, Devaki, doing well? So, a few things came to mind in reading this verse. One is, so Vidura is speaking. Vidura is speaking and inquiring from Uddhava. He met Uddhava. Vidura left the palace in Hastinapur, being shooed out of the palace, and he took advantage of that to go on pilgrimage, to really focus on his spiritual life. So we all have that opportunity when things don't go the way we want it to go, according to our plan, then we can just fulfill the plan of the Lord. And what is the plan of the Lord? For us to focus, always think of him, Madmana Bhava Mad Bhakta. Just think always of me. Just give devotional service to me. Give everything you do. Give everything you have to Krishna. So we can look at the reversal in life, like Vidura did, as an opportunity to fulfill Krishna's desire, to just focus on Krishna. So it's a boon. And so Vidura, he went to travel all over India to different places of pilgrimage. And then he came to a place, I don't remember the name of the place, where he met Uddhava. And it was really very, very, very happy to see Uddhava. Uddhava is a member of the Yadu dynasty, the cousin of Krishna. And then he started to inquire, and here what I noticed is the poetry of how Vidura is speaking. It's so poetic. And also the analogy, he make an analogy between Mother Devaki and the Vedas. And I was thinking, when we make analogies with cars, computer, but he's like so cultured that he understands what the Veda are, what the purpose of the Veda are, what the Veda personified is. And so he is so imbued with knowledge that is capable, because when we do an analogy with what's close to us. So what's close to us is computer, what's close to us is cars, things that we know in our everyday life. So that's what we take for analogy. And usually analogy helps us to understand some things that may be a little bit foreign or abstract, to bring it to a place where it's more concrete and close to us. So Vidura is using the Veda. So that's something that came to me. And a devotee, naturally, a 26 quality of a devotee, one quality is that he's poetic. A devotee is naturally poetic. And Vidura is showing so much poetry here. And then in the word for word, even more so than in a translation, there is a sense that the Lord is born from a womb of Devaki, like in a word for word, of she who gave birth to the personality of Godhead. And by her own womb conceived the supreme personality of Godhead. So all those words sounds a little bit bewildering, isn't it? It should be bewildering, in fact. It should be bewildering. How can be the cause of all causes, the source of everything, and be born or conceived? How can that be possible? Because what we know about birth and what we know about conception is at the beginning of our being, isn't it? That's the beginning of our being. And then before my mom and dad conceived me, I didn't exist. And now, because my mom and dad conceived me, I took birth from my mother. So how can the unborn be born? And that's the question we want to ask ourselves. In Bhagavad Gita, it said, Janma karma chame devyam evamyo vetitat vataha tyagva dehantot. 90 so Arjuna. Something like that. Maybe I've missed one word. But anyway,
90 so Betty.
So Arjuna. 90, yeah. So the Bhagavad Gita said, if we do understand the birth, janma, and karma, the activity of the Lord, and that we understand the truth, tattva. If we understand the truth of the birth and activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, then by understanding that alone, we will never need to take birth again in this material world. Just by understanding that. So here we have an opportunity to dive into it, like Devaki conceived, Devaki gave birth to the personality of Godhead. So what does that mean? Because the unborn cannot be born, and at the same time the unborn take birth. Why? For the glorification of his devotees. Why? To please Devaki, because Devaki, she did a lot of austerity in her previous life to get Lord Krishna as a son. So Lord Krishna fulfilled the desire of Devaki in a prayer of Queen Kunti. Like the Queen Kunti said, like so many people question why you're born. Some say it's because of Mother Earth and Brahma, and some say it's because of Mother Devaki who asked you, and some say it's because you needed to revive the devotional service. So we have so many possibilities, and all those possibilities are absolute. There is, it's not one over another one. And so here, Mother Devaki is glorified because she is such a devotee that the Lord allowed himself to take birth inside her womb. We can sit with that. What kind of devotee? And yesterday, we were speaking in our reading. We have a woman reading. No, I wasn't. Yeah, a Krishna book reading. And yeah, we were thinking. I just lost my track, my train of thought. Sorry. So I won't bring it back. But so we can imagine what kind of austerity, sacrifice this soul did in previous life to have an opportunity for Krishna to choose her to appear, because Krishna appears like the sun. We can say the sun is born of the eastern horizon, because the sun comes. It seems that it comes and develops, even like at first it's just some light, and then the sun develops. But we know that the sun appears on the eastern horizon. The eastern horizon is not the cause of the sun rising, and is not the origin of the sun rising. Still, we can say that. And so similarly, we were thinking yesterday during our class, we were thinking, always think of me. That was Malini made the contact, like it's always think of me, always remember me. And how can it be always? And to come to the platform of having that connection with Krishna, that Krishna will fulfill our desire, even the desire to have him as a son, then that's where we are going to be, always thinking of Krishna. And we gave an example that when a woman or man has a paramour, like really fall in love and completely obsessed, then we have that experience, isn't it? We have that experience, many of us anyway, have that experience to be completely obsessed with someone, completely obsessed. We get up in the morning, we think of that person. We maybe we're brokenhearted, we think of that person. While we're eating, we think of that person, what that person could be eating. What can I make for that person? When we walk, every moment of the day is absorbed, obsessed with that person, either in a positive way or in a negative way. Yeah, but we are obsessed with that person. So we can see, even for our own, human experience, it is possible to be completely always thinking of someone. Yeah. However, often we direct that propensity to think always of someone towards temporary forms, fallible soldiers, that because everything is temporary, sooner or later we are going to be disappointed by them, and sooner or later our obsession will go away. And with the Supreme Lord, we can do the same. We can really come to a place, yes, it is possible to have that obsession, to constantly think of Krishna, to have a one-pointed Ekehaku Nandana, to have like Ekeha, it's like one-pointed attention, our intelligence be one-pointed attention towards Krishna and being with Krishna, and wanted to please Krishna, and wanted to stimulate our love for Krishna. So, and here, the analogy is that the Vedas, they are compared to the mother. Why are the Vedas compared to the mother? Srila Prabhupada gave a funny analogy. He said, if you want, like, let's say, like a son is born or daughter is born from a woman, and there is no father around. There is no obvious father around. Then the person can go all around and say, "Are you my father? Are you my father? Are you my father?" And probably that person is not going to figure out who is my father by his own effort, my own mind. Okay, I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to be intelligent. Maybe I'm going to make some research, and all with my own intelligence and my own mind, I'm going to figure out who is my father. But that may not lead anywhere. It may lead to a life of endeavor and a life of searching, and also a waste of a life. And instead, the person can go to the mother and say, hey, who is my father?
Too easy.
Too easy, exactly, too easy. We don't want easy things. We want things that glorify our intelligence and mind. So we don't do that. We don't do the easy thing. And then the mother, of course, she knows. She knows because she conceived with that person. Hopefully. And then the mother say, oh, your father is so and so. So similarly, the Vedas are considered a mother. Why? Because the mother knows. The mother knows. The Vedas. They are even emanating from Krishna. The first Vedas, the Vedas were given from Krishna to Brahma through his flute, through the heart. It was imparted inside the heart of Brahma, inside his heart. And the Vedas are considered the mother because they give us understanding of who is our father. They give us complete knowledge of who is our father. And not only that, they give us the way to remember who is our father. And it is said that without the help of Sri Krishna, we cannot understand the Veda. Veda means knowledge, and in a purport, very short purport, Srila Prabhupada says so much in that very short purport. And what he said is that Krishna is a Veda. The Veda are Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna and knowledge of Krishna. And in fact, Krishna is constantly expanding himself. And knowledge of Krishna is also constantly expanding, trying to catch up with the expansion of Krishna. So not in absolute realm, there is no difference between knowledge and the person of the knowledge. Like there is no difference between Krishna and his name. This morning, before Japa, we read about how the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Are known different than Krishna. And in fact, the goal of the Veda is to chant Hare Krishna. And to chant Hare Krishna give us the full understanding of the Veda too. And so by chanting Hare Krishna, we are in direct contact with Krishna, the personality of God, Shri Krishna. And thus we are in direct contact with the Vedas, which is knowledge of Krishna or Krishna personified. So because we are not going to understand Krishna by our own effort. And that's where the philosophers fall. Yesterday we were reading the beginning of one of my favorite chapters in Krishna book, and I encourage you all to read that chapter called the Prayer by the Personified Veda, where Parikshit Maharaj, it's already the end of the 10 cantos, so he's already listening to Sukadev Goswami for about 6 days, 5 days and a half, 5 days and night. And then he has a question like, okay, so you're speaking about transcendence. So how can we hear transcendence, listen to transcendence, or even speak about transcendence when all we have to do that is our material mind, our material intelligence, our material sense of hearing, our material sense of speaking? And then Sukadev goes, Srila Prabhupada explained that also aiming at understand the impersonal aspect and really differentiating between the impersonal aspect and the personal aspect of the Lord. Because the Lord is a person and is pure transcendence, then he can manifest himself through matter for our benefit, and including the Veda. And the Veda, we see them as written words, but in reality, they are transcendental nectar. that come to us, they are the sound of Krishna's flute. That's really how Lord Brahma receives the Veda, is the sound of Krishna's flute. So by our own endeavor, if we are trying to understand the absolute truth by our own endeavor, we are not going to go that far, because we are not going to understand the birth activity of the Lord. And without understanding the birth and activity of the Lord, maybe we can come like some philosopher, like they come to like neti, like denying, like, okay, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not, and they come to a place, I am spirit. That's a possibility that with our own endeavor, a lot of austerity, a lot of sacrifice, many, many years, many lifetimes, we can come to a place of, I'm not this body, I'm not matter, I am spirit. However, without the mercy of the Veda, without the mercy of the Father, the Mother, we are not going to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by not understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead and our relationship with Him, of service, and the goal of that service, which is to constantly stimulate and increase our love for Krishna, then we are going to feel very, very incomplete. Why? Jivara Swarup Krishna Nitya Das, because Jivara, the Jivara Swarup, the Swarup of the Jiva, the form of the Jiva, the nature of the Jiva. Swarup is like nature, form of the Jiva, is Krishna Nitya Das. So to be a servant, Das Krishna, to be a servant of Krishna. So our intrinsic nature is to serve Krishna. We cannot do anything about that. It's who we are at the core, at part and parcel of Krishna. So by our own endeavor, we come to that place after many, many austerity, sacrifice, hardship. We can come to that place of liberation, that I am spirit, I'm not matter, I'm not this body. That's possible. Very difficult, practically impossible in the age of Kali, but let's say theoretically it's possible. And however, without coming to that higher understanding of who I am as a part and parcel of Krishna and as a servant of Krishna, then that realization is going to be incomplete. And because it's going to be incomplete, the soul is going to continue to search. And when that searching is there, and it may become again misdirected towards wanting to lord over material nature, and maybe misdirected in a desire to serve and to love. And Srila Prabhupada said, successful impersonalists, they come back down as altruism. They do altruism. Why? Because that search for service and love is there naturally in the soul. So that in itself can show us how it's intrinsic to us. Because even those who are liberated, even those who understand spirit, they have something missing, and they come back to the good. They come back to the good for humanity, to direct that propensity to serve, to direct that propensity to want to love Krishna. So, we too want to understand, and the beauty of Bhakti Yoga, the beauty of the process of Bhakti Yoga, is that the process and the goal are one. And so we don't need to do austerity, not much. Prabhupada said, what's austerity? What austerity are you doing? Yeah, no meat eating. How that is an austerity? It's good for your health. It's good for you. Like no gambling. No gambling creates so much anxiety. Like every moment, like in fact, all our anxiety comes from gambling. We gamble with life all the time. We gamble with life, trying to put all our, how it's called, those things? Marbles.
All our chips.
All our chips, all our marbles, all our money in places, like sometimes maybe those chips or marble, it's our energy. Maybe those chips or marbles is our investment of affection, our service, our investment in so many ways. And it's gambling. And what it does create, because we invest in a wrong place, or we are not sure if it's the right place. We don't know maybe that it's a wrong place, but we are not sure it's the right place. That's the truth. Whatever we invest into, we are always questioning, is that the right place to repose my affection? Is that the right place to put my energy? Am I really going to make money by getting that job? Then all those questions, and because we are investing in places that may not render any dividends and maybe will lead to frustration because they are going to be temporary, then we are always in anxiety. Always, this is a world of kunta. And the reason for that anxiety is really gambling. We gamble all the time. So I would tell, what's austerity? No meat eating, no gambling, limiting sex life, limiting sex life, regulated sex life. Sex life is so painful. It leads to so many diseases, so much hurt, so much like that. So like regulate. It doesn't say no. It is so just regulate, because then you can be happier. And then intoxication, like Dear Govinda, you were speaking about, as if we were not intoxicated enough. We are so intoxicated. We are intoxicated with our false ego. We are intoxicated with our false sense of who we are. That's an intoxication about I'm supposed to be the center of the universe. And then if people go against that, a plan of me of being the center of the universe, then I get mad. So intoxication leads to madness. So why adding to that intoxication? Why adding more avoidance of what? Of pain, trying to avoid pain. What if pain is exactly what we need? What if pain is purposeful, like the Veda? So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita said, Vedaischa saverhaham eva vedyo, that he is the source of the Veda. He is the source of the Veda. And also Vedanta Krit, Vedavit Eva, Chaham, that is also the compiler of the Veda. So why is giving us the Veda? For us to surrender. The Veda are only here to teach us surrender. And what's beautiful is that the Veda meet us where we are at. The Veda meet us with where we are at. And where we are at in Kali Yoga is that we are so fallen that there is no hope for us to even be met where we are at by most of the Veda. Because if we go to the Veda and we will see, really, it's not even addressed to us because we are so fallen. And at the same time, the Veda are there to guide us like a mother is going to guide us towards our father, isn't it? The mother's done to okay, go and speak with your dad and speak in that way to your dad, maybe acquire from your dad. So the Vedas are here to help us surrender. And what that surrender is, to understand what's favorable, to please our Father, and what's not favorable, to please our Father. What else surrender is? Another thing of surrender is to understand that my Father is taking care of me, is protecting me, and my Father also is maintaining me. And the mother is there to make you, don't worry, your dad is there, you can go to school. You can do whatever you need to do to develop yourself, to go towards, realizing yourself as an adult. Your dad is taking care of everything. He's there. And what else? The mother also constantly glorifies the Father. And then when we hear the glorification of the Father from the Mother, then we become humble. Naturally, we become humble. Oh, Dad is so wonderful and it's so amazing. So that's what the Veda does. They constantly, yesterday we were reading in the beginning of the prayer by the personified Veda, the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, at the end of the day of Brahma, he goes to sleep. And then it's a partial devastation that's, the all, not the all, but most of the cosmic realization comes to his navel again. And then he goes to sleep, goes in a big slumber. And the way he gets woken up, yesterday I was thinking, I want that too. I want to be wake up like that. He's woken up by the personified Veda. What do? They glorified him. That's what they do. Oh, you're so wonderful, and you have many, many pastimes, and you create the whole universe. And because you're so compassionate, and they say that. They say you're so compassionate. And the personified Veda and Srila Prabhupada said, one of the most amazing and beautiful attributes of Krishna is his compassion. His compassion, like he manifests his part and parcel out of his desire to enjoy us. And he has so much enjoyment in showing his love to us, because his love is always available, it's there. Our love is what we need to develop, but his love is there. And the Lord is so compassionate that he gives the Vedas. He gives the Vedas, and he gives the Vedas also in the form of the Mahamantra. I had a quote about that. In the Bhagavad Gita, the 55th, in the verse about Krishna as the source of all the Veda, Srila Prabhupada says the Veda gives the right direction to the people so that they can properly hold their life back to Godhead, so they can be directed. That Krishna is giving us the Veda. Krishna is giving us the Srimad Bhagavatam. When he left 5,000 years ago, the Veda were given at the dawn of creation to Lord Brahma. And Vyasadeva, who is the compiler of the Veda, he understood that for the age of Kali, the Vedas, in the Shrutis and all the Puranas, and even the Mahabharata is not going to cut it to help us. So Srila Vyasadeva, with the compiler of the Veda, with an incarnation of Krishna, the literary incarnation of Krishna, he gave us the Bhagavatam. And in the Bhagavatam itself, it said that when Krishna left the planet, what he left himself in the form of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have the Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna gives us out of his dear compassion. What else do we have? We have Krishna coming with us in the material world. He is, like Suridam Sarva Bhutanam, is a friend of all living entities, is in our heart, constantly directing us. That's his mercy. He could have said, okay, go. You don't want to be with me, you don't want to serve me, you want to enjoy separately, you want to have your own God project, just go and be there. But now he said, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to be right there with you. I'm going to speak with you. I'm going to direct you. I'm going to guide you in a minute aspect of your life, to make your life purposeful. Because the purpose of the Veda is to understand Krishna. And he gave us the Mahamantra as Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya come to revive the Mahamantra for the age of Kali. And so we can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. And by doing that, by chanting, we are hearing and chanting, we are practicing devotional service. And only devotional service is going to lead us to Krishna. Like only devotional service can lead me to anybody. Like if I want to have a relationship with anyone, last night I had a nice conversation with Dear Govinda Babu, and we were speaking about, the way to really serve people is to build trust. Build trust. That's a foundation. The foundation of any relationship is to build trust. And the foundational course we do day one, it's all about building trust. So similarly, with Krishna, we want to build trust that yes, I'm not going to serve myself anymore. I want to serve you, and I want you to trust me in that I want to serve you. And then Krishna, he has his agency like Maya, who is kind of checking in. Are you really? Are you doing that? So devotional service means like I serve someone to manifest my love, to build trust, to build a relationship with that person. And by serving that person, that person will reveal themselves to us. And it is said we cannot understand the Vedas without the mercy of the Lord. So the Vedas are Krishna. They are there to direct us, and they are the purpose. The purpose of the Veda is Krishna also. And for us to understand the Vedas, we need the mercy of the Lord. So that's how like the mother also is going to be manifested more and more by the father's knowledge of the mother. So it's all very interconnected. There is so much interconnectedness in Krishna's universe, in Krishna's process of devotional service, in Krishna's giving us knowledge, in Krishna's creation. Everything is so interconnected. We cannot take one thing and leave another. It's about really understanding the whole picture of Vedanti Tattva Vidas. Prameti Bhagavan Iti, Paramatmeti Bhagavan Iti Shadyate. So it's all of it. It's like the learned transcendentalists, they understand the three aspects of God, and it's all interconnected. The personified Veda, they can glorify the cosmic manifestation. They do glorify the oneness and the Brahman aspect of Krishna. It's so attractive, the Brahman aspect of Krishna. They do understand how Krishna is so merciful and love Krishna in the Paramatma and want to communicate constantly. And by communicating with Paramatma, in fact, Paramatma, what does he do? He helps us to serve Bhagavan. Help us serve Bhagavan. Every moment we get guidance. Oh, do that for your service. Do that for your service. And dictating what we say. Like sometimes we have experienced that we are speaking and words coming out of our mouths. Where do they come from? Super soul speaking. If we let it be, super soul take over. Super soul is a manifestation of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. And the universal form is full of ears and full of eyes and full of nose and full of legs and full of arms. Where are those arms and nose and legs and eyes? Here they are all over. We see them. There is eyes all over this room. And they're all Krishnas. And Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, he can use us fully. He can use our mouths to speak. He can use our eyes for us to see, our ears to hear. So that's our opportunity here, opportunity given to us by Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna, he created an interdependent system with a cornerstone aspect of that system is his representative. A cornerstone of that system where we can receive the Vedas, where we can receive the holy names, where we can receive the mercy of Srimati Radharani and Krishna is the spiritual master. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, there is no way for us to be even uttering one Krishna mantra. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, there is no possibility of us understanding the Veda or understanding Krishna consciousness or practicing Krishna consciousness or having any spiritual realization. Knowingly or unknowingly, the spiritual master is showering mercy upon us. And then let's find out who's that person, where is that person, and who's that person? without which mercy I will not be able to practice Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, I'm going to stop here. I'm eager to hear your comments, questions. Kachit Shivam Deva Kaboja Putriya Vishnu Prajaya Iva Deva Matu Yavai Swagarbena Dadara Devam Twayata Yagya Vitana Martam. As the Vedas are the reservoir for sacrificial purposes, so the daughter of King Devakaboja conceived the Supreme Personality of Godhead in her womb, as did the mother of the demigod. Is she, Devaki, doing well? So it's interesting, there's like a slight hint here at Aditi. Aditi will also give birth to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Vamanadev. So again, the unborn being born, and as being born, he makes everybody rise back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your compassion and mercy. Thank you for allowing me to speak, hopefully aligned with knowledge received from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Hare Krishna. Any comment, question, challenges?
Hare Krishna, I appreciate so many points there, starting with Dora's consciousness. He just made a comment okay, Prabhupada gave us the regular principles of freedom. It's a principle that Krishna gives. So here's what it looks like for you. And then okay, stay away from intoxicants, eat fish, eggs, and illicit sex. Sex life, it's not according to regular principles. Like the gambling one, because we think in a narrow sense, means like, okay, so don't play the roulette wheel. Okay.
It doesn't apply to me.
Is that?
It doesn't apply to me. I don't do that.
Right, gambling. But then you made the comment that actually all of our troubles and miseries is because of gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's like a broader, more essential definition of gambling. It's not just betting on a football game or something like that. And so Prabhupada gives that broader definition often. That right, so like where we absorb ourselves and we're gambling away the human form of life, not appreciating the precious opportunity to be urgent, to not be forced to take birth again. Gambling, absorbed in something on the internet that's not supporting me in Krishna consciousness. Not that it's not Krishna conscious, but it takes me to a place that's not Krishna conscious. But I could leave my body at that moment, and then that's where that consciousness wants. So it's gambling time and energy.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, that's actually in a sense, that's the most pervasive regular principle. So thanks for that.
It's called baiting or baiting.
What's that? Betting?
Baiting, yeah. So we are baiting away.
Yeah.
Like, I know what's going to give me happiness. I know what's going to give me peace. And we are baiting on that. Like, I'm putting my eggs there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do, because that's what's going to bring me back what I want. And we lose every time. It's like we are losing, but we are continuing to bet there instead of like, oh no, the real place where that's going to come from is by stopping that baiting and just surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And from that, It's like a desire tree, chintamani, like kalpavriksha.
Thanks for that. Yeah, there's a lecture from Prabhupada, maybe more than one place, but this particular lecture. And he says, Krishna consciousness is also gambling. Of course, it's not gambling, but he's kind of like being empathic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like,
we can gamble in that way.
So someone has just said, well, I don't know, this chanting, it takes time. And Prabhupada said, no, yeah, it takes time. So like you can't, put the gambling propensity in, because of course for someone on Prabhupada's level of realization, there's a complete faith, but it's complete, it's faith based on experience, based on realization. But Prabhupada's acknowledging like, well, I don't know, maybe I should go to this yoga society, maybe I should just dedicate my life to making a lot of money. Maybe I should get that college degree. You know, like okay. And so Krishna has our with them. So take a gamble. So take that risk.
Yeah.
This risk is authorized by the Vedas. It's tried, tested, and true. But sometimes meeting us where we're at, and say, sure. And like from your perspective, it's a gamble too. Right?
Yeah.
So place your bet here.
Yeah. And like it's like voting red, it's like seems like a almost automatic gratification. Like right away, I'm going to get points, I'm going to do that. But then let me gamble to do something else. Yes, thank you. Yeah, let me gamble. It is gambling to do something else that is not, doesn't seem instant gratification, doesn't seem to fit in a rationale of society, friendship and love, and at the same time that there is a chance there maybe that I will get a different result. Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Govinda. Hare Krishna. Yes, Père.
So hearing you speak about also anxiety, like you can be in anxiety for searching where we're gambling. I really appreciated just you bringing that up. It's like, well, if I put my and that this age is anxious. There is like in the Kali, like there is anxiety
Everywhere.
Yes,
all the time.
So I felt very met because I think I can go into the illusion that like there won't be any anxiety ever. You know, I can wake up and I'll be anxiety free. But okay, going back to the gambling analogy, I really felt met by that. It's like, okay, well, where do I want to gamble to surrender my anxiety to? And feeling very, and I just to hear about the Vedas, the way you spoke today, and you know, sharing in the verses, I felt very like grateful to hear in that way of like the Vedas being the mother, and the mother leading us to Krishna. I think, you know, I've understood, yes, to chant, but like to understand more, to get to hear today about through the chanting, through the Vedas, being the mother to lead me to Krishna. Maybe that's where I can, not maybe, but I was just feeling grateful just to have the experience of that, to the a little more of an understanding, to like go into that space of like sitting in the womb of the mother. So I was very grateful to experience that. And like I said, it just felt very met because I felt very anxious this morning.
I felt anxious this morning, and then, yeah, Prabhupada describes the world of Kunta. It's Kunta, yeah, it's like it's a world of anxiety. And gambling to counteract the anxiety by, you know, material means, because it's intrinsic to the material universe, then it's not going to work. It's gambling that always gives us losing a result, because there is no material solution to any material problem. And then let me gamble, like Dear Govinda was saying, on a spiritual solution, because the anxiety is going to be there, material problems are going to continue to come. But how can I rise above risibles are Arjuna, like Krishna said, risibles, Arjuna. So how to risibles to give a spiritual, spiritual solution to come to a place of Vaikuntha. Like during our Bhagavatam class, we are in Vaikuntha. We enter a temple is Vaikuntha. When we're in contact with Krishna in the form of his name is Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means without anxiety. So we can be in that world of anxiety, without anxiety, and you appreciate like, okay, well, I can look at where do I gamble and then take back my coins or my marbles or whatever it is, take them back and say, no, I don't want to put them there anymore. Let me put them here. Because here is like where all will manifest. And
I appreciate you saying that even being in the temple here is like that. And I feel that when I come to your temple home here, and it's a different, it's like we can turn the material energy towards like if we choose. And so I'm appreciating it. There's something else that I appreciated that I'm blanking on. Maybe it'll come back.
Yeah, you were saying about feeling in the womb of the mother and feeling that security of the womb of the mother and understanding that the Veda, there's a law for humanity and they give us guidance. They give us guidance, and through the Vayameda of the spiritual master, we hear the Veda. And in that, we can feel safe like a child in a womb. Yeah.
I remember. There was another point that I appreciated that I'm still sitting with a little bit is you shared that like our intelligence won't take us there to, like if we try to use our intelligence to try to understand Krishna, that won't work. And I resonate with that in the sense of like, I try to use my intelligence a lot to understand Krishna. And so I really appreciated hearing that. I'm still doing my best not to use my intelligence to understand that further and to understand that, okay, it's through the Vedas, not through my intelligence that will help me understand Krishna. So I wanted to bring that part up too. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita said, Dadami Buddhi Yoga Tam, that is going to give us intelligence. So it's like something different than my own intelligence. Krishna gives me the intelligence to come to him. And it's not like I'm not using intelligence. Our intelligence is going to lead us to make distinction, to discriminate, to choose like, okay, well, I know what I want. I want to take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. And so because I know what I want in every situation, let me see. And Srila Rupa Goswami helped us to understand, because making distinction is usually it's like looking at alternative. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Srila Rupa Goswami say, okay, in order to surrender, you need to accept what's favorable. Okay, so I mean, every situation in the world, I can surrender by saying, okay, eating one more cookie. Is that favorable for, having a good health, for example? And so in every situation, I can see, okay, that situation, saying yes or no, or moving forward, is that favorable for devotional service? And if we make devotional service the goal of life, like Jivasya Tattva Vigyasa, Nartayascha Karmabi, like the inquiry about the absolute truth. If we make that the goal of our work, of everything we do, and then in that situation, then there is no more gambling. Yeah, there is no more gambling. Yes, and so that's a way to use our intelligence to like really discriminate what's favorable, what's not favorable, and then the mind is there accepting and rejecting, and then the senses are like attracted or repulsed. So that like that from the intelligence given by Krishna, that I'm giving you the intelligence for you to come to me.
And he constantly gives us that intelligence. We may not like hearing what Krishna has to say, and at the same time, he's constantly telling us what to do.
It's not to like shun away intelligence.
It's not about shunning away. It's what I was speaking about is when my effort with my intelligence is to figure it out by myself. Like I gave the example, Prabhupada gives that example of like looking at, by my intelligence in my mind, I'm going to figure out who is my father.
Yes.
My own endeavor, my own, it's like self-centered, around I am powerful, I'm powerful, I'm capable, I'm, all those things, and not seeing that all I need to do, like Latini pointed out, is simply going to my mother and say, who did you have sex with? That's how I was conceived, basically. So it's that simple. We just, Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple, Srila Prabhupada said. So it can be very, very simple. We're hearing from Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu, like we are hearing from we are hearing from Vidura to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is Guru, and we are hearing from, through Srila Prabhupada, we are hearing here from Vidura, and like we get in contact with all those personalities that can cut through the nut of ignorance, cut through that of false identification with the body and the mind and the intelligence, and understand that that's not my intelligence, it's Krishna's intelligence.
And that requires intelligence to know who to hear from, right? Because
discrimination.
Like everyone here, you're really highly intelligent, because there's many things we could be doing on a Saturday morning. We could be just listening to the radio. We'd be hearing so many things. But here we're hearing from Vidura, we're hearing from Srila Prabhupada, so that requires intelligence. Krishna says, last verse of chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita, Ambude Prambhuda, Sam Savyat Manajahisha Trumahabo, Kama Rupa Rasana. Krishna says, so to progress in self-realization, realizing we are God consciousness, control the lower self with the higher self by spiritual intelligence. So that's, as we were saying, it's intelligence guided by super soul. And even if we take the analogy, again, I like how you described that, Malini, Prabhupada's descriptions, analogies, something easy to understand, to help us understand something that's generally harder and more mystifying. But like, okay, so let's say we want to learn physics. That's my goal, to learn physics. That's the analogy for learning spiritual life, self-realization. Okay, so we go, it's just like, okay, I want to learn physics. So just on my own, so basically it requires using our intelligence, having sincerity and intelligence to know where to go to learn physics. And just, I just, there's some guy on the street, I'll pay him like $80,000 and ask him to teach me physics. Like that. Sure, you'll give me $80,000 because so that's it's the analogy, because in spiritual life there's lots of cheaters who they don't know anything about physics. They're more bewildered than we are, but they'll take our time and money like that. So no, we need it, to learn physics. We don't need to be an expert in physics, but we need to have enough intelligence and certainty to go, all right, so here's like 5 or 10 university programs that are accredited. Here's the professors, here's the textbooks. Oh yeah, these are PhDs. We need to have enough intelligence to know who to hear from, to know who to hear from. If we it wouldn't be intelligent. I'm really sincere about learning physics. I'm not going to go to hear from anyone. I'm just going to figure it out. It's kind of like I'm going to use my intelligence. There's someone named Isaac Newton. He's done a lot of this. You can hear from him his right word, but there's Albert Einstein. You don't need to figure it out on your own, but you need to know who to go to. And then once we know who to go to, our sincere intelligence is so important. Then we hear, and then it's a natural part of the process. oh, okay, Professor, well, in the book it says this, and you said that. I fully trust that you can put this in, but right now the dots aren't connecting for me. So it requires a very active intelligence all the way. But as you indicate, it's intelligence that's guided by sincerity for truth, not by ego. I'll figure out all the physics on my own.
Yeah,
So there are high level, so there's high level physics professors, there's high level realized people in self-realization and Krishna consciousness. If we're sincere, let's hear from them.
thank you, Bea. Thank you, Deirdre.
Yes, Stephanie?
Um, this class has been very beneficial for me. Thank you so much, Marie. Um, I'm just connecting some dots and how different concepts you explained are resonating with me, and I see how, yeah, in my life, like I feel recently that I've had this clarity of how Krishna has been guiding me. It's not like every single day that it's super clear what the message is, but when I zoom out a bit and look at the last week, 2, 3 weeks, I see how I feel that I've made some big steps in letting go of patterns that have been separating me from God, and call it addictions or whatever. It's like David says, doing something that alienates me from my soul. And what I see, like you said, Marie, is that there's purpose to the pain, and that if I guess I'm looking at how there's a clean pain. Like I've heard it used in a different context as this way, like that there's a dirty pain of avoidance, self-avoidance, and then that there's a clean pain that's like healing, and that's the pain of really facing what wants to be felt in me, that's maybe less familiar than the separation from God pain. And so it's like, it's still, I'm seeing it's still uncomfortable. I'm being kind of vague, but I'm talking specifically about in my relationship with men, to be more specific, and how I've been attracted to like empty wells, like places that don't actually, that are not emotionally available. And that it has been super destructive for myself and my spiritual life. And now I've met somebody who I feel that his heart is open, and I'm being really slow and cautious, and needing a lot of, I'm not just like diving into a relationship like I have done in the past. And I'm just allowing like the space that he's holding that feels much more divine than what I've experienced, like to feel the pain that I have. And yeah, so it's it's like I feel in a way, yeah, like I chose months ago, like I really want to get serious about ending this pattern. And recently I feel like I've gotten more and more serious, and just life, God has been showing me the signs of where to go and what to let go of, and I'm seeing how it's not like, essentially, that it's never going to be this painless experience, life. and that but that there is a pain that feels nourishing to my soul and to my relationship with God, and realizing myself more fully, and that there's a pain that is maybe a little bit more comfortable, has more of a sensorily gratifying quality to it, but that it's stunting my evolution as a soul. I can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Yeah, muted to avoid the echo. Thank you, Stephanie, for sharing yourself vulnerably, openly, seeing that, yes, there is Krishna in the heart. And I appreciate the way you say, like, zooming out. Like, yeah, we want to zoom out and see, oh, where was I? Where is Krishna guiding me? What am I learning? Where is it that I'm getting in dead end because I'm trying to seek gratification, I try to fulfill material desire, and that lead only to more suffering and closing down. And where is it that, like, the journey become really, really rich? And I appreciate that, yeah, we have different type of pain. You know, there is a pain of the frustration and the pain of wanting to enjoy, gratify our senses, like you use those words, and the frustration of that because it never happened, and our desires are frustrated. And then there is a natural pain, like we have the pain of yearning for something. We have that yearning of the soul. The soul is yearning for connection with Krishna. The soul is yearning to reestablish itself in that intimate relationship and not get lost anymore in sensual gratification. And that pain also expresses itself in our life in different ways, sometimes in a direct way and sometimes in a way that's covered over. However, at the core, there is a deep pain of the soul yearning to be reestablished in that loving connection with Krishna. And so you're making those distinctions. There is the pain, material pain that is in vain, we just suffer for the sake of suffering. And there is the material pain which is so conducive for us to free ourselves from material attachment. We are attached. Our attachment leads to the pain. Without attachment, there is no pain. When we will be free of every material attachment, then that's nirvana, that's samadhi, that's a place of, like, there is no more pain. And that doesn't mean that the pain is not going to come to our body or mind, or it's just we are not identifying with it anymore. And so there is those distinctions you're making within yourself and increasing your trust that Krishna is there directing, is directing the wandering of all the living entities, he said in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm directing the wandering of all the living entities. So he's really directing our wandering to different relationships, our wandering to different experience with money, with everything around us is our field of activities. And each of us, we have a different field of activities. And by knowing that field, by understanding that field, then we become the knower of the field, and we can identify with being the knower of the field, which is the soul, the Jiva soul in connection with Krishna. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you for your sharing. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for being here today. Entourage Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.